Hey there, compliance officers and administrators. You might be wondering why I'm here on our office basketball court, dressed like a referee. I wanted the right setting for sharing this quote with you. It is from former Los Angeles Laker, 6-time league MVP, 19-time All-Star, NBA Hall of Famer, and master of the skyhook, Kareem Abdul Jabbar. He admitted that in athletics, there's always been a willingness to cheat. And if it looks like you're not cheating, it's just a quirk of human nature. As I'll explain shortly, cheating doesn't just happen in sport. Cheating happens in the workplace too. And who stops cheaters? The whistleblower. I used the term cheating earlier, but cheating is just a catch-all term that just happens to fit well with the basketball analogy. Whistleblowers expose illegal activities, unsafe practices, waste, fraud, and abuse. Whistleblowers can report internally, such as to a supervisor, or to the human resources department, to management, or even to the board. They can also report externally, such as to the media, government, or to law enforcement. Whistleblowers are sometimes depicted as complainers or troublemakers, which is deeply unfair. Whistleblowers are heroes. You should pause this video, read the book Bad Blood by John Carreyrou, and then resume watching the video when you're done reading the book. I'll wait. All right, for anyone that didn't pause and read the book, I'll briefly recount the story of Tyler Schultz. His saga begins as a summer intern between his junior year and his senior year at Stanford University. He worked for Theranos, which was founded and led by Elizabeth Holmes, who had famously invented a device that she claimed could run 300 diagnostic tests on a single drop of blood. Theranos was going to revolutionize healthcare, and the company was valued at $11 billion because of it. Schultz worked in the lab. He discovered, though, that the Theranos device could not run 300 tests. The device couldn't even run 2 tests simultaneously. He also came to realize that despite claiming the device had test variations of just 10% on their website, the Theranos device results varied by as much as 30 times that much. The Theranos device was a complete hoax. Yet doctors and patients were using its totally unreliable results to make important medical decisions. Lives were at stake. Tyler did what most of us would probably do. He chose the internal route first. He went to management. He sent a long email with all his concerns to Elizabeth Holmes. He got an even longer response from Sunny Balwani, Theranos' president, who just happened to be Holmes' boyfriend. In the email, Balwani not only denied Schultz's allegations, he also accused Schultz of being arrogant, ignorant, reckless, that he had no understanding of math, no understanding of science, no understanding of basic statistics, and that if he had any other last name, he would already have been held accountable to the highest extent.
You're fired.
Now, Tyler's last name is an intriguing part of the story. Tyler was the grandson of renowned politician and businessman George Schultz, who just happened to be on the Theranos board. Knowing he could not sit idly by while a massive fraud was being perpetuated, Schultz went to his grandfather with his allegations and supporting data. But George Schultz chose to discount his grandson's claims and to instead support Elizabeth Holmes. George even went so far as to arrange a supposed private meeting where Tyler was met by a team of lawyers and a non-disclosure agreement. So Tyler became estranged from his grandfather and quit his job at Theranos. Fortunately for Theranos users, and unfortunately for Holmes, Balwani, and Theranos investors, the story doesn't end there. Wall Street Journal writer John Carreyrou contacted Tyler. Carreyrou was an investigative journalist, and he was already deeply suspicious of Holmes' outrageous claims about what the Theranos device could do. It went very badly from there for Tyler, though. Theranos hit him with restraining orders and lawsuits that ultimately cost his family $400,000. The company also had Tyler followed by private investigators. But he persevered, and ultimately he and Carreyrou brought down Theranos. The interesting part of the story, though, is that there was a second whistleblower that also talked to John Carreyrou and to state regulators. Do you know her name? No one does. She didn't have the resources to fight the Theranos bullying, and so she moved to Hong Kong and was never heard from again. Her decision is understandable. Blowing the whistle on an improper activity in the workplace is both difficult and risky. So world-class organizations need to make whistleblowing easier and safer. As luck would have it, Workhub has exactly the tool you need. Our whistleblower tool allows you to specify possible recipients. These are the people inside or outside your organization that can be chosen by a whistleblower to receive breach reports. Whistleblower report submissions are extremely rare, but in the unlikely event that nefarious activities are witnessed in your organization, if the tool is enabled, employees can report a breach either from the dashboard or from the policy list. The reporter can click on Report a Breach. Now, because a policy breach is serious stuff and not to be taken lightly, the reporter is presented with terms and information about their privacy, which they must accept to continue. Then they choose from the list of possible recipients. They can select more than one. They have the option to associate the breach with one of your policies or with one of your locations. Then they are required to provide the breach details and are encouraged to be as descriptive as possible. They can add attachments, and if they want, the reporter can send a copy of the submission to their personal email address. They are warned not to use a company email address. When they click Submit, they are presented with a reference number. This is the only way a reporter will be able to later refer back to the original submission. No user information is stored. The breach details are contained in a completely anonymous black box. Also on submission, a notification is immediately sent by email and optionally by text message to the recipients. No details of the breach are in the email or text message in case the IT department is compromised. The recipients must log into Workhub to see the details of the submission. The recipients can see a list of other recipients and the status of their assigned submissions. Recipients can also record comments and add attachments and assign a priority or even move it to a different status, which can be under review, closed, or canceled. Whistleblower reports cannot be deleted. Due to the fact that other administrators with access to the whistleblower component may be compromised and could gain information about the reporter based on the timing of the report, such as immediately following a workplace harassment incident, no other users will be able to see the new report in the list for a random amount of time between 2 and 14 days after submission, and they will not be able to click on the row or see any private details. They will only be able to see whether all breaches are dealt with and which recipients to follow up with if all breaches are not properly closed. Hopefully, you will never need our whistleblower tool, but just in case, I suggest you turn it on. And then rest easy knowing that if nasty is going down at your organization, the right person will be notified. Kareem Abdul Jabbar. And master of the skyhook, Kareem Abdul Jabbar. Did you just see that? Oh, I don't know how maybe you end with that.